Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. I'm Spencer Koppel. I'm a digital specialist here at Q Media Solutions.
And I'm Madison. I am a digital strategist here.
Cool. So today we're going to be talking. It's been a little while since we've actually done one of these. We're going to be talking about some social media news. We used to do them, I think, like every month or so, and we shifted focus a little bit, but now we're back to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in platforms.
And we're sticking to social media advertising today. We're just kind of looking at some different research and trends, and it seems like that's a big hot topic, especially in quarter one. So here's your social media advertising news for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll just get started. So kind of like we've always been saying is social media platforms they're kind of moving in a bit of a different direction, but there's still a strong part of your strategy, but they just aren't a one size fits all thing anymore. So kind of an overview of all what we're seeing so far, and I'll get into specifics. LinkedIn is showing growth in their revenue in Q1, and this is all going to be about Q1. Reddit, Pinterest are all growing users, and Madison will get into it a little bit later. Meta did see a little bit of a user drop compared to Q4, which is a little interesting, and I'll let Madison talk about that later. But first off, let's start kind of a little bit of a Q&A almost. So Pinterest, it is quietly growing in momentum with its year-over-year actual user growth going up 18%. If you want to leave like a thumbs up or a comment if you use Pinterest, I personally don't use Pinterest. Madison does. But it's kind of an interesting thing that there is 631 million active users monthly on that platform. And it's just kind of a quiet social media platform. You don't really hear too many people talking about it in both users and the advertising world, but it really is kind of just like a quiet little platform that is performing well year over year.
And I was telling Spencer, if you're on the thumbs up side of using Pinterest, you'll know that they are really heavy on affiliate marketing. You know, every few posts will take you off the platform over to Amazon or Temu. And I think we're going to see that changing with that 18% year over year growth that Spencer's talking about. I think they're going to have to, kind of similar as we'll get into Meta, they're going to have to start kind of being responsible about their ads on that platform. So we'll be interested to see how that changes this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, yeah, obviously you don't want to go on a platform and it's all just ads or people doing like a quiet ad basically. But yeah, so that's Pinterest. And yeah, for sure, if you use Pinterest and it's even after the fact, just leave a comment saying like, I use Pinterest, something like that. But yeah, going on to LinkedIn, this has been a very strong platform. And I think we just recently had a 10 at 10 kind of covering this a little bit more. But LinkedIn continues to be a really strong B2B platform with the revenue of them being up 12% compared to Q4. And it really continues to be a key platform for actual professional audiences and getting premium placements in front of them. And it was a few weeks ago that we had a 10 at 10 kind of covering that. So if you want a little bit more info about how LinkedIn it can really be part of your omni-channel approach, feel free to look for that because it should be not too long ago, probably a month ago. So there's a little bit more info from us about that. Continuing, Reddit is another place that Madison and I have both been kind of chatting about. It really seems to be a platform that is just seeing some strong increases with seeing a 17% year over year growth in active daily users, which it's kind of really just becoming a more important place for brands to look at and kind of a high level look at it. What's really cool about Reddit from an advertiser perspective is you can really go to niche audiences. So you can go to if you're doing finance, you can go to like r/financial planning. So you can really go to people that are actively looking for solutions or actively engaging with that community and kind of almost becoming part of it. And so Reddit is really kind of establishing itself pretty well within the advertising space. It's kind of exciting to see as it continues to grow. But yeah, kind of the big takeaway from all of this is social media is still growing, but the actual leaders are kind of shifting. And Madison will get into a little later. But there are some other platforms that you might not think about when you think advertising that are starting to actually kind of take a little bit of that, take some of that audience away.
Yeah, and then I will jump into Meta because if you're here because you're a social media advertiser and you know that Meta is always changing, and over the last quarter and ongoing, there's been a lot of changes that we wanted to just shout out. because it's interesting because Meta's under a little bit of pressure.
Mhm.
They have over 3 million or 3 billion users, but that is a slight decline. Was it year over year or quarter over?
I think it was quarter over quarter. So they
Yeah.
actually went down. I think it was like it would have been like 200 million, which is a lot, but for Meta, that is quite a bit. That's
Yeah, it's
quite
quite a bit for the the most massive social media and social advertising platform. And with that, I think some of that decline has come from some of the treatment towards their advertisers. They had a lawsuit recently over their attribution. And so with that, their attribution models are changing in this new year. And so we wanted to just give you a quick look at what that means, especially if you are an advertiser spending money on their platform or if you're giving your clients results from Meta. So the regular attribution models, especially for click-through rate or conversions on Meta, used to be a combination of all link clicks, video views, and engagement actions. And this graphic I took from admanaged.ai. They're a really great resource, and they put together some really great resources on this topic, especially to just kind of break it down. So that's where this graphic is from. So if you see on the left, if you used to get 1,000 conversions or 1,000 conversions in that CTR model, the click-through attribution model that you're reporting to your clients or looking at yourself, that is going to be broken up now based off of actual link clicks, which is standard for a CTR attribution. You would think that that's what that is. So they're kind of standardizing that. It's only going to be those click-through, the link clicks only, and then they're going to break out another 300 that are video views and engagement metrics. Those used to be grouped together and caused a little bit of inflation in actual reporting. And so now we're seeing those break out. We are going to see, I think, a little bit more honest numbers, but you might see a decline from what you've seen in previous years on Meta. And then with that as well, this is one that we noticed a while ago, and it's worth pointing out if you are ever in Meta's platform running ads, that they did change the way that you could upload your ad formats, your ads. It used to be on the left side there, you could do a flexible format or a collection. And in that flexible format, you could do like a square or a video, or, vertical, etc., horizontal. And now they're all grouping it into a collection, which is kind of nice for ease of upload. It's a little downside if you like a lot of control over the way your ads show up on users' feeds. So now the way it works is you just group in. If you have one ad, you group in all the videos, all the photos that you want to use, all the graphics, run that into one ad, and then you can use the same sort of ad copy for that. And so it's a little different. The biggest downside is you're just going to really have to control where those placements are. Yeah. So, so Meta's basically it is prioritizing stronger creative and user experiences, a little bit smoother operational systems. It's just a little bit new for us, and so we wanted to make sure to keep everyone in the loop. And then our biggest advice is to just make sure to align with that news and that workflow, so that you're not resisting it, because sometimes it will save you time and friction if you just kind of jump in with all the changes happening.
Yep. Yeah, Meta loves doing that when you're doing setups and they have random little settings that they'll enable and turn on. And so just, keeping an eye out for those, that the campaign that you're wanting to run is actually what you're wanting to run, and those kind of things.
Yeah, and if you are like, what on earth are they talking about? Or you would like the link, if you would like the link to the article, I'll go back and comment it on the video as well that we're sharing about Meta. If you have any questions about what we're sharing or what the implications are for your own social media ad campaigns, feel free to comment or reach out at any time. We are pretty active on monitoring those. So
yeah. And on top of that, is there any social media news or platform changes that you're seeing? Is there any platforms that are emerging? Threads, we didn't really talk about Threads too much, but that's always kind of one that every once in a while they'll have news about it. I still, from my perspective, I don't see too much adoption, but that is technically part of that Meta bubble of that 3.58 billion or whatever amount that Mattis was referencing. That would include things like Threads. So it'd be interesting if you have any perspectives about what platforms you're using, what's emerging, because it seems like with social media advertising and in general of what you use, seems like it's changing nearly daily. So.
One thing we didn't mention, I forgot, I did want to mention this too. This is if you are maybe a little bit more technical with the platforms as well. But Meta is moving away from DMA targeting as well.
Oh, that is a huge one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not allowing DMA. So, that's like a major city, we're in Sioux Falls right now. You used to be able to do the Sioux Falls Mitchell DMA. The Nielsen DMA, they are moving away from that and switching to what's called ComScore. It's similar, but you do have to migrate out of that into ComScore in your campaigns.
Yeah. That is, I completely, yeah, we should definitely, yeah, that's a good thing to cover. Yeah.
Mhm.
So just keep an eye out for that. Make sure your campaigns are adhering to that DMA change. But yeah, other than that, that's all we have. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.